New Zealand local, but he's also an incredible athlete, Ironman, and someone that is putting his sights on the World Championships in Kona. But he is also a Isagenix advocate and a fantastic all-round great guy. Make him feel very welcome. It's always great to bring in different examples of people using our products, getting great results. But when you've got athletes, I think athletes are always a great way of being able to really put the products to the test, because you find that athletes are the ones that generally tend to know their bodies very, very well. And if something's not right, they're definitely not going to stick at it. And I couldn't think of a sport that is more vital to get everything right than Ironman. But before I ask a question here, just so that everybody's on the same page of what an Ironman actually is, Max, can you tell us the distances and just what's required there so that people can get on the same page?
Absolutely, I will. Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. I do have one question before I start and then I'll answer this. Does anyone know what tomorrow is? Okay, so I'm a very special person in the room. She didn't know I was coming to New Zealand. She's just back there, so I'm just going to give her a quick hug. Okay, thank you guys. So, an Ironman is a triathlon race, so it's made up of a swim, a bike and a run, and they can go anywhere from, I think the pros do them around 8 hours, they go up to 17 hours, and some people might not finish the race, but you do 3.8 Ks in open water swimming, then 180 kilometre cycle, which I think might be equivalent of, Auckland to Tidal. And then you run a marathon at the end, so it's quite a long event. Long day.
I think that was important because sometimes we throw around the Ironman, but if you can imagine that the pros, I mean the best of the best, are smashing it, doing it in 8 hours. That's a whole day at work for most people, imagine. So, what are the products that you really zero in on with Isagenix, and how do they help with your regime?
Yeah, absolutely. Is this mic helping at the back? Or is it okay if can I project?
You're good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So for me, I like having a morning routine that sticks. So for me, that's training first, and then I come home and I'll hydrate and use creatine, because there's so many studies on creatine, and I'm fucking stoked. That was well overdue. So I'm glad it's here in Oz. It's in Oz. Is it here in New Zealand?
Yeah.
So I will have that religiously every day. And I know that if you have a bad sleep, creatine is also good for cognitive performance throughout the day. So outside of sport, I run 2 businesses, so I need to be performing cognitively throughout the day. I can't have slumps. So I set my day up with hydration and creatine, and then I'll throw in a shake with some fruit and the isolene protein as well. Just to get a quick meal in, and then the rest of the day unpacks from there, and it's a bit more sporadic with what comes in, but I don't mind an e-shot when I'm too lazy to get to the cafe or something.
Who else likes the e-shots?
Yes.
Yeah. I find that this is a kick, coffee gives you that jolt, whereas it's more, it comes from tea leaves, right? Green tea, yeah, it's more of a gentle, mate.
Yes.
Big one, yeah.
Yeah. I might do the same if that's okay. Everybody hear me up the back there? Is that all right? Yeah. Awesome. So, when you look at your regime, just so that people can get a bit more of an idea, just the contact, what sort of volume are you doing throughout the course of the week? Is it combination of all the three different modalities plus the weights and things that you do?
Yeah. Well, it depends on what like races in the calendar. If you're not always training 20 hours a week, I've just come off a period where I've just dropped it down to 5 to 10 hours. But if you were to do a full Ironman prep, you'd be looking at like a 26-week block, depending on where your fitness level is. It's all individual. Like everyone's got a different starting point, everyone's got a different finish goal for the event. So there's no such thing as a one size fits all, but I'd say the average person that works in 9 to 5 would be doing around 13 hours a week. So 2 hours a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, and then on the weekend you do longer sessions. So yeah, I like to cap out around 18 max. Otherwise I just am a bit like tired. You know, the sleepy thing you're talking about, the grumpy, that's me if I'm not. If I'm training too much, so yeah. No. About 18 hours a week, which is a lot. And that's like 3 hours of swimming, maybe 8-ish hours of cycling, 4 to 5 hours of running, and then 3 hours-ish, 2 to 3 hours in the gym. So, 3 hours of movement.
And I think it's probably a very nice thing for people to get a bit of your background as well too, is how this came to be. Why Ironman? Why would you put yourself through such a thing? And obviously I've got great admiration for the sport. I think it's an incredible sport. But what drew you towards Ironman initially?
Well, I was born here. I was born in Auckland, actually. I think it was the Green Lane Hospital, so not too far from here. And I had a really good upbringing, and then always dreamed of being a doctor. That was the end goal. I broke my neck when I was 11, so I was in hospital, and the surgeon that came around with all his registrars every day and gave me the news, I really saw it as like a heroic figure. I was like, that's me, that's what I want to be for someone, when the time was right. So I ended up getting into pre-med. I was going to study at Auckland University, and then the year before I graduated from school, I already had pre-med injury. So the last year I was sort of in my head, I was like, I can do it if I want now. That's crazy. So I went and started doing a lot of drinking, fell into like the drug scene, the party drug scene, smoking and the rest of it. And I really had rock bottom, rode that for a few years, and then a few other things went really wrong. And I ended up waking up one morning. I'd been at the Sky City Casino in town the night before. I had no money, and I was like, oh shit. That was a big night. But I also had an email from Ironman Group, and I'd signed up to an Ironman. Didn't remember it. And then that was really where the journey began. So that was like pre-COVID, I think. And then the race came around really quick. I was speaking to Poe this morning about it, and I actually was still kept falling back into that, like the unhealthy habits that I was in. COVID hit, and then the race got pushed out here, which was good because there was no one else in the finish. I was still smoking, I was still doing everything I shouldn't. And then, that first one went really well, and then it was just like a domino effect from there.
And now you're in a position where you're coaching other people to do the sport and coaching the coaches.
Yeah.
At a different level, and that's tell me how that's changed your perspective on your training.
Yeah. So I mean, between the first one, maybe that was 4 years ago. First 70.3, maybe even 5 now. I lose track, but I kept going and I kept doing them. I had a coach for a couple of years, and he was a weapon. He's actually a professional triathlete for New Zealand now, which is cool. And I sort of kept my own journey going. I was working here in Auckland, so I wrapped up studies, worked in the city for a construction firm as a project manager, and then 2 years ago I moved to Sydney, and that was when I really started working. Because because I found a community, which seems to be like quite a strong thing within Isagenix as well, which I think is so important. You have people around you that are pushing you to be better, and you can also, just be talk down the ladder, I guess, and then bring people up. So that little ecosystem of triathletes was in Sydney, was a catalyst to me then getting better results. I started posting about it online, and then people started following the journey, and then about a year ago was when I had already been coaching for a bit on the side, alongside work, and then I just took the leap, and I was like, all right, and I left a job that I'd worked very hard to get to the point where I was in that career, and I was like, I want to just give this a go, and I called it a career break in my head because I didn't want my ego of like, I'm leaving all this behind, but we've built it into a really successful business, and now I've stepped out of the coaching. I'm more of I guess it's a director role. The team of coaches are all better athletes than me, which is really cool. And the people that we help are right at the beginning, sort of just getting started with their journey. And yeah, we've done some weight loss as well, but mainly performance coaching is how we operate. And yeah, more recently, I've started developing a training software for an app that will be coming out later this month. It's a really big project. But yeah, all off the back of just like, I guess, putting bad habits to the side, realizing that like living a healthy life is better in general. And then I feel like the healthier you get, you alluded to it before, the more in tune you become with your body, and the more you become aware of things that make you feel a certain way. Fast food for me, I can't do anymore. Like now, if I smoked a cigarette, my lungs would like, I was a pack-a-day smoker at one point. So you just become more in tune with your body.
I love that part of your journey to be very authentic, and you're open to it, and obviously you've done some great things after that, and you've progressed, and you've gotten better. You're still young, obviously, as well too, and there's plenty of time yet, and obviously world championships and that was pretty special. We sort of tailed back through just to the products again. A lot of the time in endurance sports in particular, one of the most important parts is hydration. We figured, yes, you've got to get your fluids up, but if you speak to nutritionists and dietitians that have been doing it for a while, but sports dietitians and nutritionists, one of the biggest focuses is always on hydration. And so yes, we need to drink water, but it's not so much about just drinking water, it's about holding water. And that's what you get when you add in your extra sodium and electrolytes, etc. So our hydrate product, we've got a hydrate product that doesn't have the extra carbs that normally, if someone was doing sport, obviously having those little extra bit of carbs is going to be great, because you can, like Max said before, he was having his isolene and putting some extra fruit in there. Why would he be putting fruit in his isolene?
Fiber.
Well, no, we've got a bit of fibre in there already, but to get his, yeah, a bit some more carbs, yeah, because why does he need to eat more carbs than pretty much most of us? He's doing a lot of intense working out, so he's going to need that intensity macro. Does that make sense? Does that mean that everyone needs to put fruit in their shakes? No, but it tastes very nice, of course, but it gives you a little bit more insight, so you can adapt the plan to suit yourself. And if you're going to have the hydrate, and it doesn't have any sugar in it, it means it's not going to spike your blood glucose. But if you're going to have a hydrate that's got a little extra carbs in it while you're training, that could work with your training. The other one might work away from it. So which of the hydrate that you give it to? Maybe you give the hyaluronic acid one, yeah? And do you sip that throughout the day as well?
Yeah, I'll have a couple of sachets throughout the day. But I think Locke makes a good point. The products, I guess, can be used in different ways. I use the shake because I need to have like food. I can throw it in the blender in a minute. I've got a meal, but I do need the carbohydrates as well. So that's why I'll just customize the products to fit my own diet. But in relation to the hydration, a really good analogy to think of is like we're all a Formula One car, and in order to make our cars drive, in terms of like intense exercise, if you go to a gym class or a HIIT class, you need the carbohydrates to perform. So around exercise, before and after, makes sense. And then that's your petrol or your diesel or whatever. And then the lubricant for the engine, so our social lubricant over here, Gabby, she's the hydrate plus. We can't have this without Gabby. So on a daily basis, in the morning is always good. You've got your sodium, your magnesium and potassium in that sachet, and also vitamin B, right? And that keeps me going. Hydration's usually like a lot of beginners will sweat and they'll just drink water and think they're hydrating, but sometimes that can actually make the situation worse because they're not bringing in electrolytes and they've sweated out. So everyone should be hydrated. Common feeling is like if you're feeling quite dizzy or you're just like even in the middle of the day, maybe you train in the morning and you just feel like, oh, you've eaten and you're like, why am I a bit flat? Just like drink some electrolytes. Like a lot of the time, you'll be like, whoa. And then like one more thing I'll say as well that I learned recently is caffeine makes you pee. I didn't realize that. And now that someone told me that a few months ago, I was like, oh, now whenever I have coffee, I'm like, oh, I need to go pee. And that's why. And if you're, I guess, excreting fluids, you should be bringing fluids back in with hydration. But yeah, I'd say if you're exercising, you definitely need to hydrate with a product like Hydrate Plus.
It's a performance enhancer, right? I mean, a lot of the time I think people think I need to have hydration so I don't get dehydrated, but they don't actually relate being hydrated to greater performance. That the performance that you can achieve by being hydrated in the right way is greater performance steps than you'll find with any other stimulant. So you understand if you get your hydration right, your performance has the best chance of being able to be at your optimal level. That's where it's so important. That's why the Ironman race, they've obviously got the different checkpoints at any point where they can have different, whether it's they're having the quick sugar Gatorade type things, which obviously just sugar and electrolytes, and all water throughout the entire thing. And food, because you're going to have to eat. You're going to have to eat throughout it, right? You thought about that, right? Going 8 hours. You're going to have to see people running around with like a pizza. Probably not. But if you ever see it in those sorts of sports, they've got their little banana holsters, the little plastic. You've ever seen these? The banana fits perfectly in there, and then you can cap off the banana, and there you go. You don't have one of those?
I don't have one of those.
It's awesome. And mate, anything else you wanted to share with the group?
I think probably another product that I have underutilized recently since I haven't been training as much, but I think it's excellent, is the nitro. So you can also drink that in replacement of coffee. That's what I do in the office sometimes. If I don't want an e-shot, I'll just have the nitro because it's got taurine in it. And I think there's definitely caffeine. So that thing, I took in my 70.3 that I did maybe a year ago now, and now it's the fastest I've ever raced. And I had that on the bike. And caffeine is like proven to improve performance. There's no direct, I mean, you'd probably know more, he's the expert of this stuff, but I think there's no study saying proving that caffeine improves performance. It's more, it's a mental thing. You become sharper and you can push a bit harder, which is probably why we drink coffee, I guess.
So,
yeah.
You notice when you're done, like if you're in your routine. It's actually a really good part of fat loss as well too, which enhances your metabolism. But particularly, and if you look this up, Tim, one of the most effective fat burners is green tea. Did you know that? Green tea, and that's where we get our caffeine from. So, and then whenever you see theanine is generally what is utilised to smooth out the when Max was talking about not getting too high. The synthetic caffeine you find will get you up, and then it will drop you down very quickly as well. Too, like your Red Bulls and those sorts of things. It's all synthetic caffeine rather than natural caffeine. So nitro as well has got the natural caffeine. It's what we drive from PT as well. That's it's a lot more smooth and sticks around for a lot longer. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole, have a look at green tea and its amazing properties. Some pretty amazing benefits.
Which brand do you recommend?
Of
Green tea?
Oh, you need to get the raw leaf, just full straight out, plunge them if you want to get the full version of it. I mean, the extracted version, obviously we get the caffeine from it, but as an all-round product, it's fantastic. Yeah. But you guys got tea too and stuff here, don't you? Yeah. Get carried away with all the different ones. But cool, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we can give Max a big hand.